Hello everyone, this is Mo from Mo Kwando. Today we're going to go over the hop cut kick, the ideal hop cut kick, and some common pitfalls in the hop cut kick that make it less effective for sparring. So basically a hop cut kick is a very explosive version of a cut kick. It's used to create distance with someone. It's used to set up different kicks. It's powerful, it's fast, but executing it properly is a little bit tricky. So we're going to go over what an actual hop cut kick should look like. I have Bob here as my training partner today. I'm in my fighting stance, and it's important that we keep our fighting stance at the same distance every time. I have my hands in my guard. I'm going to hop my back foot to where my front foot is. It's very important. Not behind, not here, but right where my toes should land, where the toes are here. When I hop, I want to bring my knee up high and then drive straight. Ah! That's an example of a hop cut kick. Let's get into some of the common mistakes. So common mistake number one, before the kick is actually even thrown, I see a lot of students doing this. They step before they throw the kick. And what that step is a telegraph. The other person, you're letting the other person know that I'm about to kick you. And the other person, just like you, does not want to get kicked. So they see this footstep, and what do? They back away, they come into the jam if they're a little more advanced, and to the side, maybe they even prepare a counter, okay? So do not do that step at first. The second thing is the distance of your knee. So when you bring your leg up for this hop cut kick, when I hop up, I want this knee tucked in close, all right? This way I can hit with power. The more distance I have from my foot to my target, the more space I can accelerate my foot to hit harder. Okay, so that's another thing. One thing that I'm seeing, and this is probably because you're a beginner at this, is pausing your knee halfway through the kick. You're going hop, you're pausing, and then you're doing the kick. What we want to do is the second your knee comes up, you start to extend the kick. Right as the knee comes up, you extend. That way there's no pause in momentum, you can just keep driving forward. Now, you'll notice when I'm doing this, right, I'm practicing in front of you, I'm throwing the hop cut kick and I'm hopping back. But when you're practicing the hop cut kick, I want you to throw the kick, high up, land forward, okay? The hop cut kick is meant to push someone back, and if you throw the kick and hop back like I'm doing right now, it takes away the space that you could have had. Like if you threw the kick and you actually push the person back, now you have space to follow through and throw your own kicks. But if you stay and you go back to your original kicking position, maybe you kick them back a half stance, but now they're 1.5 stance away from you. There are times and places to go do the kick and come back, but usually you use the hop cut kick to set up another technique. Common error I see is in the footwork. So an over hop. So we want to hop our back foot to where our front foot is. Sometimes I see you guys hopping much farther than your kick, than where your front foot is. This is a problem because of a few things. First, you won't learn your distance. And learning your distance is one of the most important things as a beginner sparrer. It takes about a year or two of consistent sparring to learn. And one of the fastest ways to learn that, beyond just sparring a bunch, is every time you practice hitting a pad, every time you practice kicking in the air, you want your feet to land in the same spot. If your feet land in the same spot, your leg's not going to suddenly change in length while you kick. You will learn how long your leg is, and you will learn how far each of your techniques can travel, what the distance is. But if every time you step too far, or you step too short, you won't understand your distance. The second thing is, if you overstep, you're going to lose balance. One common thing that's associated with overstepping is leaning on this heel. One common mistake from overstepping is leaning on this heel to drive the kick. And it's easy to lose your balance that way, on your heel. It's much easier to balance on your toes. So when you step, land on your toes for the kick and land forward. And the last thing I think is kind of specific that we need to talk about is on throwing the cut kick and making sure it's not the same motion as a roundhouse kick. A roundhouse kick where we snap, this snapping motion, fast kick where we snap, is a different motion than the cut kick where we stomp, okay? So sometimes I'm seeing the kicks come in looking like this. So the knee's up, but instead of pushing straight with our glute, with our butt, we're snapping. The problem with this is the force kind of arcs. We want a force to be a push, a straight line push with the cut kick, because we're trying to drive our opponent back. If what we're doing is snapping here, at best, it will be a roundhouse kick. Most likely you'll hurt your toes, it won't feel good, and you won't really get position. You won't be able to move them, right? And if you're fighting with someone who's really aggressive, very heavy, athletic, very hops in a lot, the cut kick is what will keep them at bay, but only if it's properly techniqued, okay?
Okay, so immediately what I really like from Charlotte's cut kick is she's throwing the kick, landing forward, and she's pulling that leg back. And this is going to be really helpful for when we start doing combination kicking off the front leg. So I'll point that again. Maybe a little overstepping here. She's driving that kick out and she's pulling it back in, and then she's stepping down. That is ideal footwork. That's exactly what we're looking for. Good work, Charlotte. I recall that maybe the other side is what needed a little bit more work. So we're here. It's driving. Maybe this heel. Yep, I like the pivot. Good. Driving that knee back down in here. So it's really important that we bring that cut kick back. After we drive that kick out, we pull it back into our chamber and then step down. And what that's going to allow for is to re-snap the kick. And I'm going to have you guys work on this come this Saturday. You'll see the importance. But nice work, Charlotte. So let's move on to Ethan's. And if I recall, this side looks pretty decent. There are a few things I want you to work on, Ethan. And I'm going to point it out here. This front foot typically steps, and that's a telegraph. Next is your knee tends to pause, right? So that's that little step I was talking about. Your knee tends to pause before you actually extend, so you can extend this kick a little sooner. And then after you extend this kick, try to re-chamber before stepping down. If you just throw a single hop cut kick, that footwork is fine. But we want to start thinking about the next step. Now that you have the basics down, we want to throw that kick. We want to re-chamber, kind of like Charlotte did earlier. So that's the next step for you, to really work on re-chambering that leg, having less tell and not pausing. But overall, it's improved a lot. The timing is getting a lot better. We could just work a little bit on having a quicker release. We want to make sure that after we throw the kick, we are re-chambered so we can throw combination kicks, and we want to keep our momentum going forward. So here, your foot's landing in the right spot. Beautiful. The knee's close. You're extending the kick. Now we just want to re-chamber. Good. But oh, this one's perfect. So you land forward. Okay, great. All right. So it's not every time, but we want to practice this mindfully, consistently. I want you to try to land forward, but that was a really good kick right there. And I just want to make sure that we know what we're doing every single time. So let's see what this side we have going on here. Foot, does it land in the same spot? Yes, beautiful. Knees tight and tucked. Maybe you can extend the kick a little faster. You're re-chambering, beautiful. And we want to land forward instead of hopping back. Okay, so we can see that sometimes we're doing one thing and the other. We just want to make sure we're training consistently. All right, very good overall. Nice job. I think you're definitely overstepping, so you're overhopping. And then you're doing the version where you're coming back. As you missed it out yesterday, but we were talking about how we want to now start working on hop, cut, kick combination. So we hop to where our front foot is. So you're overhopping there. You throw the kick, and then I want you to re-chamber just like that, but instead of hopping backwards, you're going to land and step forwards. Okay? That's going to help you, because right now what you're doing is you're kicking someone back, right? You kick them, and then they get pushed back this way. But if you hop back, now that person is here, right? And you're still over here. So there's all this extra space. What we want to do is kick them back, step down forward here, and then be able to throw another kick, like a roundhouse kick or another fast kick to follow up. So that's just something to think about. Your left leg cut kick needs work, and your right side looks particularly good. So here, your arms right here, your guard is not tight. This is what I'm concerned about, and you're also a little overstepping. You could also tuck this knee in a little bit closer to your chest for more power. And you'll see because we'll switch real quick over to the other side. So here, you're hopping, the weight's shifted forward on the front leg. You can keep your eyes forward. We'll see here on this side here. Yeah, knees tucked, that's good. You're extending the kick. I would like to see more rechambering here. And then you're kind of readjusting your feet after you land. Just land into your fighting stance before you back up. So what we're looking for now, and what I want to point out that's good, is your arms are in your guard as compared to your left leg cut kick. Your arms are here. Now there's two ways to counter a cut kick. You can go, you can cut cancel, right? Which is a way to disarm your opponent, but not necessarily how to counter attack them. You can do what's called an under kick, which is where you go below the knee, or you over kick, you go above the knee and then flick your knee down. Your guard right here is good for the under kick counter. I just want you to know it's not something you really have to do right now. That this hand stays down for the underkick guard, and you can also move your hand on top of your hip and use your elbow to block the top part of your oblique to go against the overkick. Okay, well that's good. All right, moving on. I think Lucy, a recurring issue that we have is pausing this knee before we extend it. Let's see if we still have it. Oh, that's much better. I think you still can release, but I'm seeing here that your heel is you're overreaching with that cut kick. So try not to hop too far. So I think what's happening for you, Lucy, is you're over hopping, right? And I mentioned that in the video, right? So let's talk about, here's your front foot, here's your back foot, here's your front foot. Let's see where this back foot hops to. Okay, so we wanted to hop here. So yeah, you're over hopping for sure. And then by the time you actually land your foot, your weight's going so fast and forward that it's hard to balance, and you end up bouncing on your heel, which is okay for just throwing one hop cut kick. But we want to have good fundamentals, good balance, so that we can throw additional kicks. Like we can throw a hop cut kick, hop off that same plant foot, and throw a fast kick off of that. That's like what we're aiming for. So this is where your foot is, like it's right next to the carpet here, right? So let's just say it's like this line. Where does this back foot land? Does it land on the same spot? Oh, no, it's hopping way past the carpet, like another whole foot. So it's really hard to balance. So what I'll say for you, Lucy, what you need to work on most is not hopping too far. That'll really help you with your balance. And then after you throw the kick, rechamber that leg. So that's something that we're going to work on and we're going to talk more about. But overall, very good. This has improved significantly. Great job.
So again, the hop cut kick is a great way to create distance, and I hope that this kind of demonstrates and provides a little more context around some of the things that can potentially go wrong during a hop cut kick. And I want to be careful with the word wrong. What I mean is less optimal, right? There's a way to maximize your power, your speed, your distance, and there are ways to dampen that and make it less powerful, shorter, and slower. So if you can make little adjustments to each of these components, you will get better and better, and your cut kick will get that much closer to being the best cut kick that you can throw. So I hope this was helpful for you, and looking forward to practice.